Okay. Right. So, you probably read it by the title. Right. So basically, I don't know. I'm not good at intros. We've been over this. I am not good at intros. But basically, I'm gonna be talking about why Snow, President Snow, if you will, the asshole himself. From the Hunger Games is like, okay, he's a horrible person. He's a horrible man. But he's so well written. Like, his character is just, my ring keeps banging against my controller. Anyway, it's just so well written, and that's what I want to talk about. And I want to get into this because I love talking about like movies, and if I can't talk to people about it, why not talk to you guys about it? Because it equals content, and I get to talk about the thoughts in my head that I can't tell anybody else because no one else is completely obsessed with like I would be. So that's cool. So that's why I'm gonna be doing this, and I will be doing the Hunger Games. And oh fuck, I forgot what I was doing there for a minute. Well, this is not going well for me. Anyway, so basically, like, I'll do the Hunger Games, but as a first video, I'll do Snow, and then I'll probably do some other characters, maybe the plot line, whatever. But before I do the rest of that, I'll do How to Train Your Dragon, because there is some controversial topic I want to talk about, which is the Light Fury. Some parts of the fandom love her, and my side of the fandom hate her. I do not like her at all. The way she is designed, everything about that dragon, I despise. And I'll also be talking about her good aspects, because, you know, people can have opinions and stuff, and so can I. But anyway, so yeah, that's what I'll be doing. But today we're going to be starting with Snow, because, you know, why not start with something that's been, like, How to Train Dragon's always on my mind, but I want to talk about Snow first, just so I can, see if I can get any How to Train Your Dragon fan. Ooh, this is a new map. This is why I don't recognize any of it. But, yeah, if I can rile up some fans there. But anyway, so Snow, he's such a well-written character, like, the villain, like, from his, you know, he's the villain from the very start, like, if you, obviously, the books are better, but if you watch, that was the wrong one, anyway, if you watch the, like, movies first, I mean, you monster, but whatever, you know, you do you, yeah, I'm doing really bad. Fuck. Trying to think and play the game is a hard thing to do, but anyway. So, like, him as a character, like, when you first time you see him in the movie, you just, like, oh, he is, like, even though he looks like Santa, like, the man who brings joy, he does not, you know this guy does not bring joy at all, in any way possible. And, like, he's just, his demeanor, the way he sits there, and, like, President Snow, you're on, it's just, like, it's so evil. He is evil. How am I this far behind? Someone's already finished and I'm still here? God. Okay, I'm doing horrible. But it's like, anyway, because the scene where he's talking to the weird bearded dude, I can never remember his name. I'm sorry, it's a problem. But, fuck you. Fuck you, Brennan. We're gonna call him Brennan for now, this dude anyway, showing the picture, and that's probably good. If someone does watch this video, they're probably, yeah, I'm slow, it's a new map. Anyway, and, like, he immediately recognizes that Katniss is a problem. And, like, everyone else has only just seen her. Like, they've only just met Katniss, and, like, you know, he's just, like, he already knows she's a problem. And that just shows how smart he is as a villain. Like, how he got to his, like, position is really, I find it really cool that he poisoned. Oh, this is spoilers. Spoiler warning. I mean, I already spoiled it. Anyway, I'll put a little spoiler warning up. But anyway, like, he poisoned all his other competitors so he could win, and then he poisoned himself so that, like, he didn't poison himself enough to die, but he'd be on the brink of death. That's how desperate this man was to be. Like, he wanted power so badly, he poisoned himself just to hide up his tracks. Like, even his allies who were too big of a threat, he poisoned and killed, because even though he were his allies, he wanted them dead because they were too big of a threat. So he killed his enemies and his allies, all just to become the president, which I think is, like, obviously is a horrible thing to do, you know, I don't want to get cancelled, I do not support him, whatever, I don't really know, he's a fictional character, but, like, yeah, it's so, I don't know, it really interests me, like, he did all that, and then he was able to brainwash all these people to think he's in the right, and he gets them play in this game, very elaborate game, to just for entertainment and to, like, keep the keep the balance so something like in 13 doesn't happen again, which is very smart. And then more spoilers, because since 13 is alive, since he knew that district he knew what they were capable of, he didn't want that happening again. So that's why he he decided he would keep the peace by letting them live if they just let everyone else believe that they were dead, which is really smart, because he could have just wiped them all out. He has the artillery to just kill them all. He didn't have to let 13 live, but he did, because he knew if he tried to kill them all, there'd be survivors and there'd be another uprising, because all those survivors had to do, because if they thought they'd kill them all, then they'd end up running to the forest and telling the others, and that's what he didn't want. So he let them live with the basis of you go obey by my rules and you'll live, which was really smart. I don't know. Hello, Mimi. I have to let my dog down. Like, the next point is like how he also hello, Mimi. He okay, let's start that again. Mimi, you're very distracting because your breath it's horrific. Okay, we need to have a talk about that later. Anyway, how he the way he just does everything is so strategic, and he's so smart the way he does everything. Like, everything's so planned out, and he gets into their minds. Everyone, he does so well. Like, the way he... Okay, well, why am I going to start with? There's loads of points I can use this. First point I'll start with is how he wants to keep, oh, fuck. He wanted, yeah, as he was explaining to Bearded Dude again, that we called Brendan. I know that's not his name, but anyway, the way he, you have to contain, fear. Fear, you need fear, but you need hope, but you have to contain that hope, which is very smart of him, because as most villains, that you see in movies are all just fear, 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 and make them scared of you, but, they don't have any hope, so when a tiny spark of hope comes, that just causes an outraged rebellion, and in those movies, the villain usually either dies or gets captured, because such a tiny spark of hope can spark such a big reaction. But, the way Snow did it was that they already had their small bit of hope. Their small bit of hope was if they did get drafted into the games, that there's a chance they could win. Or there's a chance their name might not even be pulled out of the role. And yes, I mean, Prim was just unlucky, but still, many, as you saw, all the adults, they could survive. There's a chance that your name wouldn't even be called out in the games. But, so that was really smart, that he had the tiniest bit of hope. So when Katniss did come along and become the Mockingjay, some people still had doubt, and they still stood with the Capitol, because they already had their small bit of hope, and they didn't want to change that and cause more deaths when they can have minimal deaths and just suffer under his rule and keep as many of their friends alive as they can. But, obviously, they still did this by reuniting the districts. More spoilers, but whatever. So, yeah, that's just why I consider really smart of him. And then, he immediately noticed Katniss as a threat. When she, I'm saying a lot, and I hate that about myself. She volunteered for Prim. He immediately saw that. I was like, oh no, this is a threat, because people were moved by that. That's like, oh, this her sister is sacrificing herself for her younger sister. How nice and kind. And you saw that reflection in Rue. Rue had a lot of family, but not one of them stood up for her. No one volunteered for her, because it could have happened in any district. And you saw the blonde kid at the start. He was 12, well, like Rue and Prim, but no one volunteered for him, and both of them died. And that's what would have happened. That's what would have happened to Prim, but it didn't, because Katniss stood up, and that was the first flicker of hope. And then when Cinna made her that dress of fire, the robe, and set it on fire, that was another thing he didn't like, because it showed it was kind of representing the flame of hope that she's bringing to the games, and he didn't like that one bit. No, he did not. And which is obviously it's a very smart way to represent it, but it's okay. Yeah, that's the end of that point. I'm talking anyway. So then it moved on. So he said Cheer One, Brennan. I know that's not his name, and it's driving me mad. But anyway, he said to Brennan, hope, like he had his whole speech about hope, like, you know, fear is good and a little bit of hope is good, but you must contain the hope. And he was saying that as in contain Katniss, because Brennan, I know that's not his name, was all excited, like, oh, she's brilliant, she did this, she was so well spoken, like, and she won over the crowd because she was nervous, and she did the twirl and her dress set on fire. It's like, oh, more fire of hope. And he's like, oh yeah, you're not seeing the bigger picture. She's being too much. She is too much hope for this community. This could easily backfire on us. And obviously he didn't realize that. And then in the games, when Prim died, she moved everybody because she put all the flowers around her, and she had the flowers over where she was where Rue got stabbed. Or where the trident went into her. So that was moving for her, especially the family, like her family back in District, I think she's District 9, I don't know. District 9 or 11. 11. Yeah, I don't know. Her family and then, like, everyone else being moved, like, oh, she's like, she loved that kid so much, it's so nice, blah, blah, blah. And, so then, yeah, so that was, like, too much hope. Like, so then, also, like, the way in the books, it's described in the books that way, by the way, that when the mutants come, they use the eyes of the competitors to kind of like for in the wolves. So when she saw Rue's, like, oh, these mutants are created from the victor, or not the victors, the tributes, and it's like, oh no, blah blah blah, and then they win. And another act of hope she did was that her and Peeta lived, and she said, well, why should they get that line's important, why should they get their victor? And so when they went to kill him, he had to obviously stop that, because, you know, they need their victor, or else everyone's gonna be mad. Oh fuck. And so then, oh, blah blah blah, he's like, oh, that's great. And he's like, you know, fine, I'll let this play out. We'll solve this problem later. So, and then he's like, since he wasn't happy with the game maker, that's not how this was supposed to go down. He, you know, put him in a room of Nightlock and basically said, go fuck yourself. Literally, kill yourself. So that happened. And then in the next Catching Fire, since he knew he needed to get rid of the hope before it spread, he was very smart, because he didn't want the people of the the people of the capital, whatnot. He didn't want them knowing what he's doing. Like, he didn't, because if he can't just go and kill them, because that's too suspicious. In the one, like, after their victory tour, the two victors who basically disobeyed the capital, if they suddenly died, that would be very suspicious. Like, oh, well, you know, why should they be treated like that? Like, they won their victory and they still died. That's going to cause a rebellion, because, you know, no matter what, people would realize no matter what we do, we die in the end. So that's why instead he let them carry on. He let them do their little victory tour, and they showed up at Katniss's house to get into her mind, to make her so when she's on the tour, she had to prove herself to Snow she was in love with Peeta, blah blah blah. She had to be on the capital side, because otherwise, like we saw in the first district she went to, it was definitely not the story. She was not supporting the capital, blah blah blah. She was, like, voicing her opinion. He didn't want that, because she knew the truth. He was after threatening her, like, oh, prove to me and to them that you love Peeta, blah blah blah. That's why they had the whole proposal thing. Because he wanted to get inside her mind, so she tried too hard and get, like, try a bit too hard and kind of, like, be false. And they just completely, like, the way she went off the car, she didn't speak her mind at all, like Katniss usually would. She just, you know, she did what she was told. She listened to Snow, which is what he wanted. And, because he had to kill off the hope. So, she was willing to do this to protect Prim, and etc., etc. Again, protect her, because he knew Prim was a weapon to her anyway, against her. So, and then the way he did, like, oh, the 74th quarter, blah blah blah, as, like, the way he wanted to kill her was that, fine, I'll just do another Hunger Games. He made up this whole thing of the following tributes to come into the ring again, Catching Fire. And he was expected that, since all these other, like, Finnick Odair, Joanna Mason, I know they were her allies in the thing, but they didn't know that at the time. Like, all these are all experienced killers. They have killed, they've murdered, and then the careers again would be very powerful, very strong, and be an absolute threat to them. That's how he is really smart in trying to kill off the Hope. Like, he planned it out so strategically that nobody who wasn't like Haymitch, no one in the twists of the capital would know that. He's all keeping people under his thumb out of fear, but having a tiny bit of hope to make them think that someday they'll be able to get out of this. But I like, as I said, with the being able to live, etc. But in reality, they can never escape. As Haymitch does mention, you never leave the games, because Haymitch figured it out. But like, oh, you never leave the games, blah blah blah. Fuck you. But yeah, it's like, oh, you never leave the games, yada yada, which is true, very true. But it's like he used Peeta against her because he Peeta, sorry, not Peter, Peeta, like my brain's dying. He wanted Peeta to, like, obviously this is in the Mockingjay now, I've skipped to that. Was he's getting Katniss' mind, getting her desperate to like get Peeta back, because he wanted her to come to the capital, and then she gets cat, blah blah blah. But obviously that didn't happen. But then when they did storm the capital and Prim died, when she went to visit him, he got in her head again he got into her head, and about how, oh, Prim died, blah blah blah, and like, hey, so that was Gale's plan, blah blah, that was your plan. It's very, and he complimented her plan. Oh yeah, good plan, making me to seem Alexander, so my own people turned against me, which was what he was trying to avoid at all costs. Like previously, like having the capital be completely oblivious. Like obviously Effie wasn't oblivious the entire time. She actually learned, but in the first one, you can actually tell the difference, how fake she is. Like, she doesn't realize any of this is like bad. She's just like, oh, it's an honor, blah blah blah. Then in the second one, you can see that she realized she's a lot more upset. She's angry, but she has to hide it. She's angry. She's angry though. But so then, like, but then he convinces Katniss, oh, but like, who's the real enemy? And that's what she's been asked the entire time, because he obviously, since Peeta was under his control, he had Peeta ask her, oh, do you know the real enemy, and if not, find out who. So that confuses her more. And then she, with not BT, oh, what was his name, the dude who lost his legs, that guy, I'll show him on screen, that guy, when he lost his legs, like, oh, trust you, just get to the capital, do your own, like, don't listen to Coin, like, blah blah blah. And then also, like, she's pretty pissed, like, Coin did basically try to kill her. She sent Peeta there, which is just gonna be a problem. But anyway, and he got into her head, like, oh, do you know? And then and he got into her head, and he basically made her kill. He didn't make her kill Coin, but he made her think, who is the actual enemy? And she shoots Coin, because I'm not going into Coin's character today, but basically, yeah, it's just like, that's why he's such a cool character, because like he just gets into everyone's minds, and like, and you see him laughing, because you see him laughing at the end, like, oh, yeah. But anyway, so yeah, that's that. So like, my brain's kind of scrambled, because I forgot about my notes, which I have somewhere, but I couldn't find them. I had like better notes, as I'm kind of scrambled, but I promise the next video will be better. But yeah, in short, his character is just so interesting because of how smart he is. He's like, he has every corner mapped out to work out the way he wants it to. Like, obviously, Katniss, I'm not going to the character again, but Katniss had every right, like, to kill Coin, because Coin, as like, she wanted to do another Hunger Games for, like, the capital's children, but what was that going to do? Like, that's just gonna cause issues. That's just gonna do, like, what were they did this whole war to stop the Hunger Games, and they're gonna make another one just to kill their kids. Like, what point is that making for their new what's it called? For the new government? Because their whole thing was stopping the Hunger Games, and now they're gonna do more Hunger Games. And like, it didn't make sense. So yeah, I'm not going into her character again today, as I said, but yeah, still. So I just thought it was pretty cool. So yes, thank you for watching this video. I am now officially off break, because I know I didn't upload for a month, but I was just on a bit of a break, so I was really tired, and I'm starting school again. Very bad time to come off a break, but I promise I'll be recording on Saturday. Well, hopefully Saturdays and maybe Wednesdays, depending on my timetable I get from school, whatever's my best day. So yeah. Thank you for watching, and come back next time for a controversy, because we all love a bit of that on the internet. Bye!